So what is an aircraft magneto system and how does this work? Firstly, a magneto is a self-contained ignition system that we use in piston engine aircraft, and it doesn't need a battery or external power source to keep the engine running of the aircraft. Now remember, when you look at a piston engine, there's a spark plug or spark plugs within the engine that's supposed to ignite the fuel and air mixture, and that's what keeps the engine running. Now the question is, how do we get that spark plug to actually ignite the fuel air mixture? Because there must be some other current flowing or electricity going for that thing to make a spark. Okay, and this is what the spark plug looks like if you haven't seen it before. On the right hand side, and that is what ignites the fuel air mixture. Now, a magneto system is very simple. People make this super complicated, but it's actually very, very simple. Inside the magneto, there's a rotating magnet that spins past a coil of wire. So imagine this. Imagine you have lots of copper wiring, okay? And inside that wiring, there's a magnet with a north and a south pole that is just spinning, okay? Now, when that magnet is spinning, the copper wire around it picks up the electricity that the magnet is creating because of its magnetic flux. So when a magnet is spinning, you can't see it, okay? But it actually creates a little bit of a current going within that coil of wire. And then from that coil of wire, which is this part over here in the picture, this part, from that coil of wire, the current then gets sent to the spark plug, and that creates a spark, which then ignites the fuel air mixture. Okay, so that's essentially what it is in layman's terms. It's a magnet that moves within a coil of wire, and it creates voltage through what we call, this is an important word, electromagnetic induction. And then this current is sent to the spark plugs at precisely the right moment in the engine cycle, creating the spark that ignites the fuel air mixture. Important, very important for the exams, you need to know this system needs no battery and no alternator to operate. Initially, yes, it does need the battery, because as soon as the engine starts running, it needs a battery to get the engine running, but as soon as the engine starts running, the magneto just keeps spinning from the engine, and that keeps creating that electromagnetic induction, which is sending the current to the spark plug and keeping the engine running. Okay, so that's the big difference between a car and an aircraft. There's no electrical system dependency here. So like in a car, typically when the battery dies, the car is going to die because the spark plug uses the battery of the car to be able to produce a spark. So no battery, no spark, no engine, no driving. In an aircraft, we can't have that, because what happens if a battery goes dead? Okay, we need to have a separate system that can keep the engine running even though we don't have any electrical power. So that's why we have the magneto system. So in an aircraft, when the battery or the electrical system fails, the engine still keeps running because of the magneto system. It's really just a magnet spinning around a coil of wire, sending current to the spark plugs, and that's what keeps the engine running. So remember this, a magneto is a self-powered ignition system using magnetism and motion to create a spark, and it's what keeps your engine alive even when your electrics go down. That is a magneto system.